because their presence even in that area is not a guarantee for peace.
That's it.
Rather, it is the opposite of peace, you know. So the people were right to provide information. Now, the police are saying that in the aftermath of this, they have mobilized security to the area. The people need to be protected.
Yeah.
Those who volunteer information to the police need to be protected. Otherwise, people will be discouraged from providing information if you are not sure that the repercussions for providing information to the police won't even lead to loss of your own life.
Yeah.
Nobody will want to volunteer information.
For us at this hangout, it is this, that the southeast of Nigeria has a choice to either let go and let reason prevail. They have a choice. Okay, our next story, you know, we take you to Akwa Ibom State. Barrister Inibe Efyong's journey to the Correctional Center in Akwa Ibom State began on 27th July when he was convicted of contempt by the State Chief Judge, Justice Ekaite Obud. Well, the journey ended for the vocal human rights attorney this Friday morning when he regained his freedom after a 30-day incarceration. In his words, let me quote him, "I want to thank my lordship for the well-needed vacation she gave me," end quote. But he urged the State Chief Judge to release the closed-circuit TV footage of that day's court proceedings to clear facts. But that rather thankfully, let me add that the lawyer secured the release of 17 other inmates while in prison. Some issues are never totally resolved. One of them is the Inibe Efyong story. Right, Yinka?
You know, up till now, we discussed this some time ago. On this very
when it broke.
Yes. The correctional facility denied that they forcefully shaved him.
But the man was shaving.
Exactly, that's where I'm going. I would have loved them to now release the picture of him while he's out, to convince us or to put a lie to it that they didn't shave his beard or his hair or whatever. And the CCTV, will the judge release it? Because
if you ask me,
the judge has achieved her aim that he must spend that 1 month in prison or in detention or whatever we want to call it.
Correctional center.
Now, I hope that the guy will not allow this to go just like that. He must pursue this case to a logical conclusion.
Yeah.
As the statement or the detail of the judgment being released, up till now, nobody seems to have heard anything about that. Or maybe I missed it when it was released. So he needs to pursue that, and also
because without
Falana need to let us.
If there is no release statement, you can't file it.
Exactly. So how far has the case gone? The Falana SAN to allow us to know, so that, see, if we allow this thing to go, other judges will do worse than what you have done to him. We are talking about it today because he is a lawyer. If it happened to an unknown person or maybe somebody that is not well known, the judge will get away with it.
It's possible.
So we need to follow it to a logical conclusion and be sure that the judge either was right or she overstepped her ban and needs to be cautioned by the body of benchers or whoever.
Thankfully,
and if it is the guy, Efyong, the NBA should also caution him so that we know exactly what is. It is when things like this happen and you don't apportion blame and punishment that it allows it to happen next time.
Jide, a cynic said, if we, in this country, if we are serious in ridiculous things, chances are we'll be ridiculous in serious things. This has happened. It might happen again somewhere else.
Yes. I suspect, because in December last year, I think December 3rd, to be specific, the judge
The same judge.
This judge went on a rant against this young man, and on that day, he said, "Don't stand before me and talk nonsense. I have been on this side of the law for over 30 years, and you don't come and treat the law from there. Is anything the matter with you? This is the court of law, and things are done according to rules here. Sentiments do not overrule that. You are not on Channels TV. Neither are you on Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Television." So when I...
End quote.
End quote, as you like to say. So when I read the remarks of the CJ made in a fit of anger, I suspected that
One day.
that matter, if it was not assigned to another judge,
She will have her own kind of place.
Was in trouble.
will be in trouble. Now, the judge accused him of using a reporter to cover that case and in the process embarrass the court. So one of the first things that the judge did...
So, see, that's not a bearded...
Yes, it's no longer...
They've already...
Yeah.
Well, let's
The baby will soon grow.
it will grow.
But they need to explain.
Well,
Yeah.
let's even leave the matter of his behavior and talk about... So the judge decided to stop a Premium Times reporter from covering the proceedings. Inebehe, seeing three gun-toting policemen in the court, then
Felt intimidated?
Yes, and said, what are these guys looking for in the court? But of course, we've seen robbery gangs even come into the courtroom to free their colleagues. It happened in Imo State.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't tell a judge not to allow armed security men in her court, especially somebody of the rank of the CJ of the state. You know, she's someone that has to be protected. So, but I knew that, look, clearly there was no love lost between the judge and this young lawyer. Remember Justice Olatoregun, I think, and the EFCC lawyer.
Yeah.
In the famous Fayose corruption case.
Yes.
The judge had to tell the EFCC lawyer, Jacobs, that, look, I'm not your age mate. You met me in this profession. And even if I was a lawyer, I would still have been your senior. You know, on the bar or at the bar. So that matter degenerated, and the EFCC had to ask for a separate, a different judge. Believing that they could never get a fair trial on that matter. In the end, a matter in which more than 10 witnesses had been presented had to start afresh.
All over.
Because once the judge was changed, the judge was even approaching her retirement at that time. Once the judge was changed, they had to start afresh. That has done serious damage to that case. So I was wondering that this could be history about to repeat itself. But the judge took things further by deciding to jail Inebehe. The MB has done the right thing by reporting the judge to the NJC. Maybe, just maybe, although it's a reality for even the NJC to indict their own men. It rarely happens. Sometimes when it happens, it's too late. Look at the matter of the former chief judge of the Abuja division.
Yes.
You know, who was guilty of ethical misbehavior. What did they do? They indicted him after he had left the court and become the traditional ruler of a village in Zamfara state. So I'm not even confident that
they would do
reporting the matter to NJC would bring anything out. For Inebehe, that's another lesson learned. People like Falana, people like Gani, you know, they went through
all these kind
of trials. So for him to get to the top, he has to pass through this kind of baptism of fire. So I'm sure that he has picked valuable lessons on that, but in my view, that matter ought to be transferred to another judge, because a judge who attack a lawyer and go to the point of even jailing the lawyer.
All right. Well, the debate will continue, but mine is, while it is not possible to do something about the direction of the wind in this case, we can at least do something about the direction of the ship, gentlemen, right?
Definitely.
We are watching. To our next story, you know, our country seems to be enervated midweek by the 6-month-old strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State has passionately appealed to both parties in the squabble to bury the hatchet, since, according to him, education remains the biggest industry in his gateway state. As far as he is concerned, the unresolved crisis affected other sectors of the economy. At this point, it's no longer a matter of who is right or who is wrong, but more of what is good for our young minds and the country at large. Judy, is anybody home and therefore listening?
I just hope that they are listening, but I've not seen any sign that people are listening, that the people concerned are listening. The governor wants ASU and the federal government to end this whole impasse so that the undergraduates, the students, can return to school. And I agree with him that, look, a lot of people outside of the ivory towers are affected. Look at people who do POS business. If you go to a university,
yes,
or any tertiary institution for that matter, you see the POS business is thriving.
That's it.
That's one place that I've seen where it is really thriving, beyond the rural areas where there are no banks, you know, thanks to the activities of armed robbers. But
oh, no thanks. Go on.
you know, but these people have been put out of business by the fact that the schools have been shut.
Yeah.
There are other people, restaurateurs, you know, on campus, they've been put out of business. People sell stationery, other things that the average student needs daily. They've been put out of business, and in a difficult season. This is not what Nigerians want to see. We have suggested the reason we have this whole problem is the fact that both camps are stiff-necked on this matter. Neither of the two camps is prepared to shift ground. Because at this point,
no middle ground.
They don't want everyone, both camps see this as a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
Oh, you are not going to defeat me. Oh, I mean, it's foolish to see this as a contest, for example,
and
that somebody must not defeat you.
You know, ordinarily we say when two elephants fight, even when they are engaged in a love tango, it's still the same grass.
Because they are standing on this. You've seen them in a love tango a number of times.
Asking me? Go on.
No. You are the one who came up with the... you came up with the wisecrack. You must have seen them a number of times.
So the grass is suffering too.
See, the Nigerian people are suffering. I suggested to government that, look, there are some demands that ASU has made that have nothing to do with money.
Yes.
You know? For example, let me not even go into some of those demands because it will take us some time. Now, ASU is saying, give us UTAS. Giving them UTAS.
As opposed to IPPI.
Yes. Giving them UTAS does not necessarily mean that it will cost you money to allow that to happen.
No.
You simply disenroll them from the IPPIS and let them have their UTAS. You told them to go and bring something that you can use, that if it is tested and good enough, you will allow...
Government will
Yes.
hear said even Utah is a suspect.
Is IPPI is not suspect. With the
Haven't we had
under the
about-
IPPI's regime, are we not seeing a situation in which an accountant general will be accused of stealing more than 100 billion?
So
Who has said that IPPIS is not suspect? So let's leave. But the thing is, let's even find a middle ground.
Yes.
We can't have a situation in which ASU is not ready to yield grant, government is not ready to yield grant. How can government be comfortable that for 6 months students have been at home?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you've got to find a middle ground. You don't need to set a record.
That's it.
You don't need to set a record because nobody will give you medals
at all.
for the length of time that ASU has been at home. I mean, it is the well-being of our nation that we are talking about here. This has nothing to do with individual egos. People should be able to say, okay, we've had enough. Let us come to a middle ground. But what we see going on is like, okay, in the past, some other unions within the university sector joined in this strike.
Yeah.
Now, government is negotiating individually with them. But the truth is, even if you negotiate with those ones and everybody agrees, if you do not achieve a resolution with ASU, the universities will not be open. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
Don't kid, those are support services. You understand? So come to a middle ground. You set up, I hate to even recall some of these things. You set up Mausalem Jibrin committee by yourself. By yourself. In response to, in the aftermath of the memorandum of action that you came up with ASU, you set up Mausalem Jibrin committee. You did not implement.
Honor the outcome.
Mausalem Jibrin present. You don't know. Now, Mimi Briggs, you also set it up. It wasn't ASU that set it up. You set it up. Mimi Briggs has come up with his own report. We are hearing snippets from that report, which is itself unethical. A report that has not been officially adopted. Why are we getting snippets of the content? Now, you've got to look at that report and say, look, what Mimi has come up with that we should pay and all that we cannot afford. This is what we can afford. Let a negotiation, let some conversation even start begin from what the government thinks it can do. Not to simply keep quiet and the whole world is looking at us like unserious people.
All right, we'll go on this break. We'll go on this break and come back. Don't forget the talking point at this point is the unavoidable brouhaha between ASU and the federal government. We'll be back. Please stay.
The federal government, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, announces the availability of COVID-19 and childhood vaccines nationwide. With the disturbing increase in reported cases of COVID-19 infections across Nigeria, protect yourself and loved ones from the harmful virus by getting vaccinated. Visit the nearest public or private health facility and mass vaccination sites today to receive the first, second or booster doses of COVID-19 vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines are given to persons 18 years and above, including pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, while childhood vaccines are given to children from birth to 5 years for protection against polio, hepatitis, yellow fever, measles, meningitis, and other vaccines-preventable diseases. All vaccines are free, safe, and effective. For inquiries, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122.
This message is from NPHCDA in partnership with the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from MacArthur.
All right, folks, welcome back. Yinka, let's go this way. It sounds unbelievable, but it is true. Do you know, in the midst of all this, you push me, I push you, new universities are mooted, about 63 of them, and you are wondering who is saying what at this point.
You see, it's a very, very funny situation. But unfortunately, the fun is at the expense of our children and the future of those who will go there. 63 new universities. Okay, let's even assume half of that may be private universities. But the question you are going to ask yourself is, do you have enough manpower to fill those that are in existence? Talk less of the new one that you are licensing. I mean, it's like when you get to the corridors of power, before you get there, you may have your head in the right place, you may think very rationally and all that, but when you get to the corridors of power, there are so many interests perhaps that you need to pander to. I need to establish a university in my village.
You don't enter the corridor.
I've never, and so that's what I'm saying. Because
whether long
ordinary people, no, you see the people that ordinarily, when they were on this side of the divide, they spoke very intelligently and very well. You find that they are there. You know, in this crisis now, almost every day, the people recount and repost the articles, some of the articles that have been written by the present Minister of Education when he was a columnist about ASU strike and all that. And then you ask yourself, does this man one day sit down, read this thing, and even come up and tell people that, oh, gentlemen, I did this at the time of the unknown, when I didn't know the real situation. Now that I know the situation, this is the real situation, and I'm sorry that I said that, but now that I know this, I was talking as an outsider, now that I'm an insider, I've understood this problem. In fact, if the man had been gracious enough to call ASU and let them sit down together, that, look, gentlemen, I'm sure you all know that I was one of your greatest supporters. But now that I've seen, I'm sitting on the driver's seat, I've seen that most of the things I've been saying are impracticable. These are the practicable things you can do. Can we sit down together? They will listen to him. But now you have a minister who is not ready to listen to them. Last 2 weeks or last week, if you remember, almost a month or 2 months ago, the Minister of Labour said the president has given him a marching order to solve the problem in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
The man didn't reply immediately. It was only 2 weeks ago, after about a month, that allegation or this thing was said, that he replied.
Reacted,
so now you begin to ask yourself, does this man live in the Kuko world? Does he live in Nigeria? And then, on the part of Governor Abiodun, I think he has done a good thing. But I want a situation where he himself will take it as a duty. Call the chairman of the Governors Forum, let them discuss, set up a committee or call some of them that, look, let us also talk with legislators, let us talk with ministers, let us have an agreement. We all come together, because the way these people are going, it's like they don't even care. Nobody cares anything is going on. In the midst of this, they all travel abroad and they begin to show picture in all media. And I mean, what is it? What
of their own children graduating?
Exactly. Is there anything wrong with us?
There ought to even be a law barring the public officers from,
the problem is that
allowing their children to go to school abroad.
The problem
maybe
is
that will make them to
who go make the law.
Maybe that will make them to
the same legislators who are in
who go make the law
whose children are also there.
Because we have that level playing field, we don't have this problem.
Gentleman Adegbite is joining us from Shagamu. Good evening, Adegbite. How are you? You are on. Good evening. No. No use bedroom voice. Oh there. Sorry, we hardly can hear you. Yeah, Jide, in taking this thing home, therefore, we are in dire straits. We are in deep trouble now. So I think the passionate plea should be to the Aluta community, and on the one hand, and government on the other. We don't want to go the cynic way, who said when a problem lingers for too long, the two parties are wrong. So there should be wisdom somewhere.
Yes, I prefer that wisdom to spring forth from the side of government. It is possible to solve this problem in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
You say, look, this is where we are going. Why hasn't the president called ASU leaders? If the president will invite them to a meeting, they are going to respect him.
Yeah.
They told the traditional rulers and the clerics, you know, that committee, they told them to come together. They spoke with ASU, applied pressure on ASU. We saw ASU decide to go back to work, and a memorandum of action was drafted. Why do you get into agreements that you know in your heart you are not going to honor? As we are, as men, our word is our bond. That's the way it should be with government. Don't go into negotiations that was what the Senate president said, that why did you go into this knowing that you've not got the funds?
That's it.
Why did you agree to this knowing that you've not got the funds? That's what the Senate president said. I still remember.
And see, for the country.
When you now said you are going to do this, and you fail to do it, you expect them to fold their arms and not protest? Who does that?
It's like promising your child you will buy him a car if he gets a first class or second class upper, and he gets hit and then you
started doing
it doesn't make sense.
All right, let's rest the case here, but the debate must go on. Our advice is, in tandem with Governor Abiodun's plea, government at a time like this, it is not doing what it is not doing your best that matters, but what is necessary. We wish you well. Okay then, shall we talk politics now? In politics, campaigns and canvassing get ugly and messy along the way. The main opposition, People's Democratic Party, PDP, is having to fight many fires at the same time. One of such is Governor Nyesom Wike's intransigence. His feud with the party's presidential flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar, got to a boiling point when the River State governor flirtatious maneuverings with the opposition politicians raised the political temperature. The two of them met outside the country in London, England, at a dinner attended by Governors Okeze Ikpeazu of Abia, Seyi Makinde of Oyo, and Samuel Otom of Benue State. The two feuding parties, that's Atiku and Wike, agreed to bury their hatchet and work for PDP's victory at next elections. The PDP flag bearer pleaded with his loyalists to halt their attacks on Governor Wike, as he hoped that PDP governors would work for his victory. They say, Jide, when you bury the hatchet, you don't bury the handle with the hatchet.
No.
You bury hatchet, the handle is still on top of the ground.
If it came from the inner recesses of my heart to bury the hatchet, I will bury it completely.
Okay. With the handle.
I will bury it without a desire to go back and use it. That's me.
But in politics, it is a different ball game.
That's why some of us will never play politics. That's why we won't play politics. We won't be drawn into that. Play politics? No. No.
In fact, you know what that they call pillow talk? You understand me?
Oh, definitely.
Madam, you for night, you and madam. Oga, this thing where they go on. How you think about them? I wonder whether our politicians indulge in it.
Oh.
Some of their wives are as cold-hearted as they are.
Exactly.
Look, some of the bad things that they
do,
their wives encourage them to.
Yes.
So
such pillow talk would not yield anything meaningful.
He go spoil the pillow.
No, you didn't. Meaningful.
Now the one go there, go down.
The pillow talk will further toughen the heart of the man. Didn't you read the story of a man who said he was leaving power, and the wife said, "Oh, I never knew I married
Lily
bad man. You remember now?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so, I didn't know I married a coward. Woman, because they talk of pillow talk. Pillow talk will worsen matters for other players in the political firmament.
So suddenly, Wike is the big bride.
Wike is being, the Labour Party is giving him an eye. APC is giving him an eye. He's enjoying it.
Yeah.
The other day, some PDP governors, they went to see him in his house. How they fired me and the rest of them. And you know, he was basking in that.
As a matter of fact, one of them, commissioned projects.
No, that one is different. He's been bringing them. He's been doing that for years. But I'm saying that in the aftermath of his loss of the presidential ticket, sensing that this is somebody who is emotionally fragile, the APC governors went to him with the intention of wooing him to their side. You know? But Wike will not join the APC.
No.
I've said that here before. He wants to install his own man, the Accountant General of the state, as the next governor. If he joins the APC, he will be obligated to support the APC candidate.
Definitely.
So, but he can still rock the boat even while remaining in. That is the reason Atiku and the people close to him are doing their best to ensure that this thing doesn't get worse. The other day, I saw my younger brother, Dino Melaye, do an interview the other day. The first few minutes of the interview, the questions were about Wike. I saw a sedate, an uncharacteristically sedate Dino taking his time, picking his words, reluctant to attack
Wike,
the man, because if he should attack the man, even an article could get angry. That, why are you trying to make matters worse for me? This and that. They know that the best they can do is to manage him. Manage his elephant-sized ego until such a time when you are sure that you've managed him sufficiently, both of you are happy with one another, and then he can work for you. Where he is now, he is still bitter. Not just, see, let's even go to some of their complaints. With Ayu. Ayu made
bring on the one side.
Yes, okay. Admittedly, by the tradition of the PDP, the standard bearer, the presidential standard bearer of the party, and the national chairman don't come from the same zone.
That's it.
If it's from the north, the other person must come from the south. Now, with Ayu and with Atiku becoming the candidate of the party, that is being breached already. When the PDP was in this kind of situation during the Jonathan years, they had to do a convention to produce another chairman
from another zone.
Yes. In this case, Wike's people are saying, are you offended them by breaching protocol during the convention by allowing Tambuwal after reeling out his manifesto and asking for votes to go back to the podium and then say he was stepping down for Atiku.
And he pronounced him the star boy.
Yes, when they now visited him, he called him the hero of the convention. See, in this era of social media, somebody is filming that thing and it suddenly goes out. With Wike seeing that, you say, oh, so we were dealing with an enemy all along. Because there are certain things that you do not say. You describe the person who facilitated Atiku's victory as the hero of the convention, and you expect Wike to be somewhere still happy with your leadership of the party. You should know in his heart of hearts that he made a fundamental error on that day by that pronouncement. So They are saying, look, you should step down. But the truth is, on that score, Wike and Atiku met over dinner in London. They are here to agree on whether this is the right time for them to shop for a new national chairman.
But
many people
but you
think
know, say the dinner go don't digest. And,
you follow them chop. You know, so this is the thing. Wike, honestly, I'm happy that Atiku has warned these people.
Not
You are
to,
making,
I beg, leave
because
the
people
guy.
like Sule Lamido coming out to abuse him.
Yeah.
Sule Lamido should know better.
yeah.
This person
old
is
player.
better ignored than even
yeah.
responded to.
Exactly.
That's it.
You
They should
understand?
have.
And now that's why Atiku is saying that it will worsen matters for us.
You remember Napoleon Bonaparte, the so-called first Antichrist,
Yes.
said, if your enemy is
He's
making a
making-
mistake, ignore him.
Yes.
So this is the season.
But you know what? For me, the worst aspect of it is that these are the same people who are the ruling elite in Nigeria. You want to discuss party matters, you
leave
have
the
to
country.
travel to UK. Now, what happened to Yankari Game Reserve?
Booked
What
out.
happened to
Booked out.
Obutukatu Ranch?
No
Now,
room.
we are talking of lack of foreign exchange. All these men carried themselves up to the UK to go and spend scarce foreign exchange. And then, unfortunately, Nigerian electorate are also not helping themselves.
They are part of it.
You that you are a man begging me to buy 200 naira recharge card for you. If I say anything against a candidate, you will attack me.
And you expect to
And the candidate that you are fighting for does not give you 200 naira recharge card. I gave you 200 naira recharge card. You are abusing me because I disagree with your
the
candidate.
statement of George Orwell holds true here. He says, a people who keep electing people when they finish them are accomplices.
Exactly. So now, the question we should be asking ourselves, what is the role of the common man in all these things they are doing? Why will you have to go to UK to resolve a matter that you could have invited yourself to Obutukatu Ranch or Yankari Game Reserve or anywhere in Nigeria? But it is not their fault, as I said. It is the fault of the electorate. If I were to have the power to control the electorate, honestly, I would tell you all these candidates should not be voted for. Because why should you leave your own country if those people have made their own country inhabitable as you have made your own country inhabitable? Will you be able to go there? Will the Boris Johnson come here or go to any other country in the world to meet the opposition leader or whatever, and then you splash it all over the media, and then you continue? You think we
have Julius is
to
waiting in Benin to join us. Julius, good evening to you. Brother Julius, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, lift up your voice, as they say.
Yes, first of all, I just want to commend you people for a job well done, most especially Babajide Kolade Otitojo. I really want to thank him for his level of objectivity. My contribution is towards the ASU and federal government impasse. I just want to say that the way out of it is for the federal government to obey the laws of the land and must do the needful by agreeing to the agreement that is on ground, and whatever committee that they are going to set up, even the ones they've set up before, they should learn to honor their agreement. You send somebody on an errand, the person returns back to you only for you to throw the thing and put it behind the carpet. I don't think
Julius, thank you very kindly. We know that both the ASU and federal government are grown-up men. They know what we are talking about here. Thank you. Except that we were talking about the PDP Wahala. Belly aching. If the opposition party, Jide, is belly aching at this time, how many months to the election, then there's trouble in the land. And you talk about making mistakes and allowing your enemy to make mistakes.
Continue.
You know, who know whether
But the way it is now, you see, I don't even... If you look at Wike, some of his people are complaining that Atiku did not just pick Okowa instead of Wike, who
came second.
Who came first in the rating by the advisory committee. You know, he said they should advise him, and Wike was the runaway winner, but he chose someone else. Now they are saying for his deputy. Even me, I won't choose Wike as my deputy.
No, I don't think any.
Let's face it.
But
I would be too scared of him
Yeah.
to make him my deputy. So I understand where Atiku is coming from. But they are saying that Atiku's remarks on the day he presented Okowa
as his
running mate was targeted. Yes, it was targeted at Wike. He gave the impression that Wike was not the kind of person that...
Jide, do you know, it reminds me of the 48 laws of power. You know, the first one is no measure body with Oga. The number 3
but not be MB Oga now, not be MB. Wike no be Atiku Oga now.
No, get in context.
No.
It says law number 3 is no show your hand too fast. Which is saying Atiku been showing hand, raising hand too fast.
No, but you know,
number 2.
If that's the person that he felt was best for him.
Yeah.
You see, in my view, the candidate should be left to choose whoever he can work with.
Yes.
Because if they can't work with one another, you will be blaming him for choosing the wrong person. So all this head banging on the wall over the choice of a deputy, I don't think it's necessary. That should be his call. He should choose someone that he believes best complements him and will be able to work effectively with him. But they are saying that the remarks he made on that day were in bad faith and targeted at
Wike,
the emperor of rivers.
Yeah.
You know, so I still think that there's no way you will pick a deputy and not give the reason why you chose him.
exactly.
It's a difficult situation that they found themselves with this Wike man. But they must just go on trying to find a truth.
Yinka, you know, makes me remember late Baroness Margaret Thatcher. When a dingle foot, they give them wahala. She said, we can't afford this man staying outside peeing. Bring the man inside. Make it the pee outside.
That's the way I think PDP is trying to do with Wike.
That's on the one hand, though.
Yes.
Now the IU chairmanship is brewing on another scale.
Honestly, you know, the explanation of IU is that until their presidential candidate wins, that Wike's request can be granted. But
even after that, you will not want to.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, he used to be a university lecturer, very.
You remember?
I told you the last time. Forget about that one. He has left the campus
for
very years,
history.
Very many years ago. So I'm not sure he remembers all those matches, whatever. Like I said, he is very, very educated and intelligent. He should know what to do. At this point, I expect that as a man who has taught sociology and sociology of politics and all that, and has written books and papers on it, he should practicalize what he has been preaching about it. And whether your candidate wins or not, the party has broken that rule. And to show that, yes, I'm a man of my words, he needs to sacrifice that seat, if only to calm the nerves. Because the way he's going, if he continues to retain that seat, the party may lose the election, if they lose the election, he will lose that seat. Because, one, some people will say, yes, you are the cause of the loss, so you have to go. So whether he goes now or he doesn't want to go, it's still the same thing.
All right, I hear we must pack up and go. Inka, you know, if you allow your mind to tell your heart what to do, the tendency is for your heart to fall victim. I know the PDP knows what to do, and I wish Atiku very well. I hope that Governor Wike will allow reason to prevail. Jide, we must go.
Yes.
But thank you.
Yes,
you have a good Friday night. So we are coming on your back.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Everyone coming on his own bill.
Have a great night, but send the bill to us.
That's what I plan to do.
All right. The show, that will just about do it for today. If you missed any part of this show, join us at 11 for our late broadcast. And don't forget the Sunday edition. We have a 2-hour expanded edition from 1:30 for you. And we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. Good evening.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Join us to stop crude oil and product theft at production sites, on the pipeline, at terminals, at the depots, on vessels, at refineries. Help stop crude oil and product theft. Report infringements to www.stopcrudetheft.com. You can also validate genuine purchase at validate.stopcrudetheft.com. Please report and be rewarded. This message is from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited.
The following is a paid